Fetch it up.
Good girl. Good girl, thank you. Alright, first step here is going to be prepping the actual squirrels. I'm working with 3 of them today. These are already obviously cleaned, vacuum sealed, frozen, and thawed. If you're interested in how to clean squirrels, I've got that in the previous video at the end after the squirrel hunt itself, so I'll leave that linked up in the cards and in the description for you. So there's a lot of ways to cook squirrel. The reason I do slow cooking now is I've tried, you know, floured and fried or deep fried or whatever, and you always end up with, I'm just going in with a little bit of olive oil here, you always end up with tough meat doing it that way, or at least I always have. Just because this is so lean, they don't carry hardly any body fat. I mean, they basically just eat acorns and climb trees all day, so they're jacked out of their gourds. So what happens is if you cook them hot and fast, they kind of just like cramp up and become really, really tough and hard to eat. I have eaten them that way before simply because I don't want to waste things that I've hunted, but it's not the most pleasant experience. So we're going to slow cook these to avoid that problem. Once we've got oil on there to get the seasoning to stick, we'll just salt, pepper. I'm going to use garlic powder and onion powder. Okay, we're seasoned up. They're ready to add to the slow cooker. Alright, the first thing we're going to throw in here is some Kerrygold salted butter. This is the only butter that is welcome in my home. This is just going to introduce a little bit more fat to the recipe because, like I said, this is a very lean meat we're working with. Drop that into the bottom there. And then we'll drop in our squirrels right over the top. And then we'll set this to low, cover it, and I'll see you guys in 6 hours. Okay, we're about 3 hours into our 6-hour cook time on these. I'm going to go in with a quart of chicken stock. I'm going in with a quart. You can go in with 2 quarts if you like a little less thick of a soup. I'm going to prefer like a chicken and dumplings to be fairly thick. So 1 quart will be fine for this. And then just for flavor's sake, I'm going to add about a hefty spoonful of this chicken broth base to it as well. This stuff is very, very good. Just gives the standard chicken stock a little bit more punch to it. And then back down for another 3 more hours on low. Alright, we're at 6 hours later. Go ahead and pull these squirrels out. We're going to debone them. Before we debone, we are going to have to be sure to let these cool because these will burn the crap out of your fingers. So I'm going to set these aside for a moment, but as you can see with just using the tongs, that meat will pull away just fine. Do a quick taste test. Yep, tastes like a rotisserie chicken. So we'll let those sit for 5-10 minutes till they're cold enough to work with, and then we'll get to deboning. And there we have it. So this is about 3 squirrels worth of meat. It's very similar to like a rotisserie chicken at this point, but there is the meat. You want to be careful to look out for these tiny little bones in there as well while you're picking them out. And then I just kind of give it one more once over, and then we're going to add it back into the crock pot. Alright, cover this, set it aside again. Okay, now time for the dumplings part of the chicken dumplings. I'm just going to lightly flour this so that we don't get dough sticking. Now, if you want to make your own biscuit dough and do this like quote-unquote the right way, you'll probably end up with a better product doing it that way. But for me, on a time crunch, we're going to use the Pillsbury, you know, whatever biscuit dough you can get in a tube. Jeez! Okay, biscuit. We're just going to knead this up into a ball here. We're going to roll this out flat. Okay, we've got this pressed out to about the thickness that I want. So we're going to take a pizza cutter, run it through. We're going to make strips out of this, about 1 inch wide. And then come down the center here twice, like so. And then you've got little individual dumplings. Just drop these in here, and I'm gonna set this crock pot to high to let these cook. All right, and we've got about just enough sitting there to cover the top, which is about what I wanted. So like I said, I set this to high. We're gonna leave it here and check it out in about half an hour. I just realized I forgot to add a vegetable to this recipe, so we're gonna throw in some carrots. I'm gonna try and just sneak these past the dumplings here. Get them down in there so they can soften up, kind of incorporate. Should have added these at the beginning, but on high these should soften up. Cover it, leave it for another probably 90 minutes. All right, we are boiling. Go ahead and get that lid off. Give it a quick stir. Oh yeah, looks like we are done. That's the consistency you want those dumplings to be at, where you can cut through them and they're solid, like so. Okay, I'll finish this with some black pepper. And let's try some. Get a little bit of everything in here if we can. So, squirrel, dumpling, carrot, veggie. That's banging. That is perfect for like a winter meal. Like, and if you want to make a big batch of this for the family. Oh man, that's good. Like I said, guys, give this a shot at home if you're interested in the recipe. This is an absolute banger and probably my new favorite way to make squirrel. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. We'll see you in the next one. Yes.